In this video, I'm going to be talking about all of the things that I learned last week at a marketing conference in Detroit. Hi, welcome back to whatever this is. I am Christian, and as I mentioned last week, I was in a marketing conference in Detroit down at the RenCen. I learned a decent amount that I'm going to share with you here today. Nothing is going to be like too hyper focused on one subject. This is sort of just going to be like a brain dump, if you will, of all of the things that I learned. But before we get right into it, I want to shout out to Denise Johnson. She recently contacted me, just sort of like asking me about the general setup that I have going on here, about the camera and the mic and all the fun stuff, because she wants to do some more video production herself. So she was just kind of picking my brain. But then she also said at the bottom of her email, hey, this is my Instagram and TikTok. I would love for you to go check it out. I checked it out. Denise, you're killing it. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, and it's only gonna get better. And I'm not saying it's bad. It's very good right now, but in like 2 to 3 months from now, it's going to be even better than where it currently is. All it takes is for you to start posting videos, and that's your baseline. Every video that you post after that, in theory, should be getting better, and you're already off to a good start. So if you want to go check out Denise Johnson just to like see what she's doing, I'm sure I'll throw up her socials right here. I believe it's Woodward Living on both Instagram and TikTok. That's that. Let's hop back into the content of this video, which again is just vague things that I learned at a marketing conference. Starting off with number one, it is a bigger hitter, if you will, and I haven't talked about this in a minute, just because I think the popularity of this just sort of went down, and it's using lives. Hear me out. I don't really care where you're doing the live. You can be doing it on Instagram, you can be doing it on YouTube, you can be doing it on Facebook, TikTok. I don't really care where the live is taking place. But if you aren't doing lives, here is a great reason to maybe start. If you do lives, you essentially, depending on how you set them up, can set yourself up for content for the rest of the week, potentially for the rest of the month. Let's say that you are live for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, talking about whatever. Maybe you're talking with a guest, maybe you're answering frequently asked questions, whatever. Once you're done with that live doesn't like disappear. It's a video somewhere. It's on whatever platform it is. So what you can then do is take that entire live and then chop it up into individual little social media bites that are anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute long or whatever. You essentially do one performance, so to speak. You create one piece of content that can then be chopped up and then posted everywhere else. Now, in theory, this doesn't technically have to be a live. It can literally just be what I'm doing right here, where I'm talking to a camera for X amount of minutes, and then I chop it up into one piece of video. But if I wanted to, for this video specifically, because I'm going to be talking about plethora of subjects, I technically could just make each one of the subjects its own little video if I wanted to do that. But I think you understand what I'm trying to get at here. You have to sit down, make one piece of content where you're actually producing the content, and then you essentially have social bites, social pieces, social posts for the rest of the week, 2 weeks, a month. That's up to you. Another stat I learned, which I think is just more or less updated numbers because I've been preaching this stat for a long time. 91% of users watch videos online. And with that 91% number in mind, I'm going to tell you a stat of how many brands post images. 75%. 75% of brands are posting images rather than videos. Now, you technically are a brand. Very large disconnect between the number of users that are watching video and the number of brands that aren't posting video. Do with that information what you will. All right, let's move on to the next one. Stories are a great way to generate leads to your website. Basically, what this presenter was saying is that there is a higher likelihood that the user will come across a story and they are more likely to go to that brand's website as opposed to maybe seeing the same content in a post. So basically, if you are unfamiliar with how stories work, you can, if you are a brand, post a link or basically click a few buttons before you post it that will allow the user to swipe up as they're viewing the story, and it will take them directly to whatever link you are telling them to. So if it is an open house, quickly swipe up and they are on your website. If it is a new listing, quickly swipe up and they are on the new listing website. If you are not posting stories and you want to maybe get more generated clicks to a specific website, consider using stories. This next tip is probably more for TikTok specifically. Basically, the whole thing that this presenter was saying, and I agreed with, was you are a few posts away from going viral. There are so many different variables that can determine if a post goes viral or not. And to be honest, it can come down to the smallest thing of just the fact that maybe you posted it a minute later than when it needed to go viral because certain people were going to be again, this is more TikTok specifically. Now this next one isn't so much a tip as it is to just something to remind yourself that nobody actually cares about you, specifically on social media. They just care about what you can do for them. I'm going to say that one more time. Nobody cares about you, which I know is hard to hear. They just care about what you can do for me. Sure, you will have that small percentage, that small cluster of people that actually do care about you as a human. But if you are producing content that is not giving value to that user, they won't care about you. Plain and simple. So again, this isn't really an idea. It's more or less just something to keep in mind when you are posting content. And if all you're posting are listings and open houses and just solds, the answer is no. That is not valuable to the majority of your users. The next tip on the docket is more so probably for videos. And basically this presenter was talking about how negative headlines have a higher click rate than positive headlines. What do I mean by that? So the example that they gave was 5 things that your car mechanic should tell you, right? That's the positive headline. The negative headline is 5 things your mechanic will never tell you. Guess which one got clicked on more? Now, you can obviously switch out mechanic with real estate agent. 5 things that your real estate agent should be telling you. Or you can come at it from 5 things that your real estate agent will never tell you. And it's sort of like I'm letting you in on like a little secret, because at the end of the day, if it's a video, you pretty much just want to get them to click on it. Obviously, you want the content of that video to be valuable and not misleading. When you put all this time and effort into making a video, you kind of want to make sure people are watching it, right? And last but not least, if you are producing any sort of like long form content, which honestly could be anything over 5 minutes, and it's not too heavy on the visuals, just throw that into a podcast. Now, the only reason that I'm suggesting that is because 62% of humans, or Americans probably in this instance, listen to podcasts. We're not always able to be in front of a screen. Maybe we're on a walk, we're on a run, we're in the car. Believe it or not, people listen to podcasts, and they listen to podcasts about everything. So again, if you are making any sort of long form content, that is just another piece of content. So again, circling this all the way back, going back full circle, if you are doing lives or any sort of long form content, you know, how I told you to chop that live up into bits and pieces, that's great. But the other thing you can do is just take the audio from that live or that long form content, upload it to any numerous podcasting sites, and bada boom, bada bing, you now have a podcast. You are now a podcaster. It's that easy, folks. I know this was a lot. I know there was a lot going on in the videos. Going further, I will hone in and go a little bit more detailed on certain individual topics, but for just this video, I wanted to just make it a catch-all. Hopefully you found something in this video to be helpful and informative. Thank you for watching, and as always, I will talk to you guys next video.